Dear students, welcome to this online class. Today we will learn the remaining part of the story, The Tiger King. In the last lesson, we came across a 10-day-old royal infant who was told by the astrologers that his end will be at the hands of a tiger. Therefore, he set out on a mission to hunt tigers and kill tigers. He was successful in killing 99 tigers. But as it was told by the state astrologer, the 100th tiger brings him problem. Today, we will read the remaining part of the story and see what happens in the life of the Tiger King with regard to the 100th tiger. Come, let us read and understand this story.
The state banned tiger hunting by anyone except the Maharaja. A proclamation was issued to the effect that if anyone dared to fling so much as a stone at a tiger, all his wealth and property would be confiscated. Proclamation means public or official announcement. Public or official announcement. Fling means to throw. Fling means to throw. Confiscated means confiscate means take over or seize someone's property. Take over someone's property by the state. We have already learned that the chief astrologer had warned the Tiger King about the 100th tiger. That even if he kills 99 tigers, he may not be able to save himself. The real threat will be posed by 100th tiger. With this in mind, tiger hunting was banned for all others except the Maharaja, and an official order was issued in this regard. If anyone dared to fling or throw even a stone at a tiger, all his wealth and property would be taken over by the state. So, these strict measures were implemented so that the king is able to kill, hunt 100 tigers to save his life. The Maharaja vowed he would attend all other matters only after killing the 100 tigers. Initially, the king seemed well set to realize his ambition. Thus, here we read that the Tiger King, the king of Prathibandapuram, did not attend to his duties as the king. He was only interested in killing 100 tigers. At another time, he was in danger of losing his throne. A high-ranking British officer visited Prathibandapuram. He was very fond of hunting tiger and fonder of being photographed with the tigers he had shot. But the Maharaja was firm. He did not change his decision. He refused permission and he told the British high-ranking officer that he could arrange any other hunt for him. But he cannot hunt tigers in his kingdom. It could be a boar hunt, mouse hunt, or he was even ready for a mosquito hunt. But tiger hunt, it was impossible. The king even refused permission to the British officer to have a photograph with the dead tiger, the tiger killed by the Maharaja. Because of this, the Maharaja stood in danger of losing his kingdom itself, since he refused permission to the British officer even to have a photograph with a tiger killed by the king himself. He was in danger of losing his kingdom itself. Because he prevented a British officer from fulfilling his desire, the Maharaja stood in danger of losing his kingdom itself. The Maharaja and the Diwan held deliberations over this issue. Deliberate means to discuss. Now they discussed how they could get rid of this problem. The Maharaja stood in danger of losing his kingdom itself. The reason was, the British officer was not allowed to hunt a tiger. Even his desire to have a photograph with a tiger killed by the king himself was refused. Therefore, there was the danger that he could lose his kingdom. The Maharaja and the Diwan, after deliberations, came to the conclusion that they could tide over the situation if they could win over the British officer's wife or good lady. With this in mind, they asked for samples of expensive diamond rings of different designs from a shop in Calcutta. Some 50 rings arrived. The Maharaja sent the whole lot to the British officer's good lady. Thus, in order to win over the British officer, he sent 50 diamond rings of different designs to his wife. The Maharaja did this in order to win over the British officer who was refused permission to hunt a tiger and also to have a photograph with a dead tiger. He thought by sending these diamond rings to his wife, he will be able to influence the British officer and he could save his throne. The king and the minister expected the Duraisani to choose one or two rings and send the rest back. Duraisani is the wife of the British officer. Within no time at all, the Duraisani sent her reply, "Thank you very much for your gifts." Thus, in order to please the British officer, the king had to settle a bill for 3 lakh of rupees on account of the diamond rings. The Maharaja was happy that though he had lost 3 lakh of rupees, he had managed to retain his kingdom. The Maharaja's tiger hunts continued to be highly successful. Within 10 years, he was able to kill 70 tigers. And then an unforeseen hurdle brought his mission to a standstill. The tiger population became extinct in the forests of Pratibandhapuram. We know that the king wanted to kill 100 tigers so that he could escape death at the hands of a tiger. But he could find so far only 70 tigers, and he was successful in killing 70 tigers from the forests in his kingdom. Now, he is faced with a problem. Where will he find 30 more tigers? The king had to find a way out of this, and therefore he sent for the Diwan. One day the Maharaja sent for the Diwan. Diwan Sahib, I summoned you here for a different purpose. I have decided to get married. The Maharaja was hell-bent on disproving the astrologer's prophecy. He wanted to kill 100 tigers. So far, he could only kill 70 tigers. Therefore, he summoned the Divan to find a way out and told him that he would like to get married. The Divan began to babble even more. Your Majesty, I have 2 wives already. If I marry you? Don't talk nonsense. Why should I marry you? What I want is a tiger. To babble means to utter words unintelligibly. So, when the king told him that he would like to marry, he misunderstands the king. And that's why he said, I already have, that means the Divan has 2 wives already. Now, then the king said, what I want is a tiger. He again misunderstands the king. Your Majesty, please think it over. Your ancestors were married to the sword. If you like, marry the gun. A tiger king is more than enough for the state. It doesn't need a tiger queen as well. The Divan misunderstands the king. When the king told him that what I want is a tiger, he misunderstood that the king wants to marry a tiger. And that makes the Divan to say all these things. The Maharaja gave a loud crack of laughter. I'm not thinking of marrying either a tiger or a gun, but a girl from the ranks of human beings. Here we find that the king had a definite plan, and that's why he asked the Divan to find a girl from the ranks of human beings. And he makes it very clear he is not going to marry either a tiger or a gun as understood by the Divan. The Divan misunderstood the king, and on both occasions the king tells him that he is not planning to marry either a tiger or a gun. First, you may draw statistics of tiger populations in the different native states. Next, you may investigate if there is a girl I can marry in the royal family of a state with a large number of tiger population. We have already seen that the king assumed power at the age of 20 and he went on a tiger hunting campaign. He was excited to kill his first tiger, and within 10 years he killed 70 tigers. Soon, tigers became extinct in his own state. And that's why he decided to get married to the royal family of a state that had a large number of tigers. With this in mind, the king instructed the Divan to find out a girl from a royal family of a state with a large tiger population. Maharaja Jang Jang Bahadur killed 5 or 6 tigers each time he visited his father-in-law. In this manner, 99 tiger skins adorned the walls of the reception hall in the Pratibandhapuram palace. The Divan, following the orders of his king, found the right girl from a state which possessed a large number of tigers. The right girl was found out and the king married her. The king's purpose is served. Each time he visited his father-in-law, he was able to kill 5 or 6 tigers. And this way, he was successful in killing 99 tigers. The Maharaja's anxiety reached a fever pitch when there remained just 1 tiger to achieve his tally of 100. He had this one thought during the day and the same at night. The Maharaja had killed 99 tigers. If he could kill just 1 more tiger, he would have no fear left. Then he could give up tiger hunting altogether. Moreover, he had to be extremely careful with the last tiger, the 100th tiger. Thus we find the king to be extremely anxious. He had only one thought during the day and the same dream at night. When will he find one more tiger to complete the tally of 100 tigers? One day, when his rage was at its height, the Maharaja called the Diwan and ordered him to double the land tax forthwith. Rage means anger. The Maharaja was determined to kill 100 tigers. So far he could kill only 99 tigers. The 100th tiger was not easily found, and the Maharaja was very angry at it. Therefore, he ordered the Diwan to double the land tax, and it was a kind of a punishment to his subjects. The Diwan went home convinced that if the Maharaja did not find the tiger soon, the results could be catastrophic. Catastrophic means dangerous. The Diwan knew that the king was very angry, and if he was not able to find a tiger for the king, he will be a victim of his anger. Therefore, he was in search of a tiger so that the king could kill 100 tigers. He felt life returning to him only when he saw the tiger which had been brought from the People's Park in Madras and kept hidden in his house. Here the Diwan works out a plan. He brought a tiger from Madras, and with the help of his wife, he took it in his car to the forest where the Maharaja was hunting. The Diwan had hell of a time in getting the tiger out of his car. To escape the wrath of the king, he did all these things. On the following day, the same old tiger wandered into the Maharaja's presence and stood as if in humble supplication. Master, what do you command of me? Supplication means a humble request or a prayer. The tiger was an old one, and it was brought from Madras. It was with boundless joy that the Maharaja took careful aim at the beast. The tiger fell in crumbled heap. On the day of the hunt, the tiger brought from Madras wandered in Maharaja's presence and stood in humble supplication. The Maharaja took an aim at him, and the tiger fell in a crumbled heap. Maharaja's joy knew no bounds. He ordered the tiger to be brought to the capital in grand procession, and the Maharaja went away in his car. After the Maharaja left, the hunters went to take a closer look at the tiger. The tiger looked back at them, rolling its eyes in bafflement. Bafflement means confused or puzzled. Though the Maharaja had taken a careful aim at the beast, the bullet missed the beast, and it had just fainted. The Maharaja was under the impression that he had killed the tiger. The men realized that the tiger was not dead, the bullet had missed it. It had fainted from the shock of the bullet whizzing past. The other hunters wondered what they should do. They decided that the Maharaja must not come to know that he had missed his target. If he did, they could lose their jobs. They had to do something urgently. Now, they thought of a plan. We will read this in two parts. One of the hunters took aim from a distance of 1 foot and shot the tiger. This time, he killed it without missing his mark. Then, as commanded by the king, the dead tiger was taken in procession through the town and buried. A tomb was erected over it. Let's continue. A few days later, the Maharaja's son's 3rd birthday was celebrated. Until then, the Maharaja had given his entire mind over to tiger hunting. He had no time to spare for the crown prince. Now, the king turned his attention to the child. He wished to give him some special gift on his birthday. He went to the shopping center in Prathibandapuram and searched every shop but could not find anything suitable. Finally, he spotted a wooden tiger in a toy shop and decided it was the perfect gift. The Maharaj did not know that he still had one tiger left to kill. Free from the threat of imminent death, he decided to celebrate his 3-year-old son's birthday. And as a gift, he got him a wooden tiger. Very good. Let this be your offering to the crown prince on his birthday, said the king, and took it away with him. On that day, father and son played with the tiny little wooden tiger. The wooden tiger actually cost only 2 annas and a quarter. But the shopkeeper knew that if he had told such a low price, the king would punish him under the rules of emergency. Therefore, he told the king that it would cost 300 rupees. The king did not pay any money. He took it away, saying that let this be your offering to the crown prince. He told the same to the shopkeeper. Taking the wooden tiger home, the king and his son played with the tiny little wooden tiger. It had been carved by unskilled carpenter. Its surface was rough, tiny slivers, correct the spelling, S-L-I-V-E-R-S. Slivers mean splinters. Pierced the Maharaja's right hand. He pulled it out with his left hand and continued to play with the prince. The next day, infection flared in the Maharaja's right hand. In 4 days' time, the infection developed into a sore generating pus which spread all over the arm. 3 famous surgeons were brought in from Madras. After holding consultations, they performed an operation. And when they came out of the theatre, they announced the operation was successful, but the Maharaja is dead. In this manner, the 100th tiger took its final revenge upon the Tiger King. The Tiger King lost his battle. The chief astrologer had predicted that the Tiger King or Jang Bahadur will die at the hands of a tiger, and it proves correct. The prophecy did prove true, as his death came out of the 100th tiger, and that tiger here was the wooden tiger.
Students, I hope you understood the story. I know I could not bring in fun and laughter into this class as it is an online class. Still, when we meet again, as the school reopens, we can have and we can hear more stories and enjoy the story in a better way. Now, I will very quickly summarize the story.
The Tiger King. Let us revise the lesson. The king's birth. Jilani Jung Bahadur was born, and at the time of his birth, it was predicted by the astrologers that he would become warrior of warriors, hero of heroes, and champion of champions. And the best of all, it was said, he would die one day. And death would come from the tiger as he was born in the hour of the bull. Bull being the enemy of tiger. So, the king had to be very careful in the case of a tiger. A miracle. The 10 days old royal infant spoke in an intelligent manner, and when it was told that he would die, he asked the source and manner of his death. And it was told that he will die at the hands of a tiger. Thereby, he cautioned all tigers, and he said, "Let tigers beware." Now, the king, Jung Bahadur, grew stronger, taller, and grew in English environment. We saw that he drank the milk of an English cow, and he was looked after by an English nanny. He was tutored in English by an English man, and also he watched English films in order to grow in an English environment. Now here we see that the king is growing up in a proper manner, and he grows up in an English environment. He became the king of Pratibandhapuram at the age of 20. And thereafter he began hunting tigers in his state. And he was the only hunter, sole hunter himself. He refused permission to a British officer who wanted to hunt tigers in his state. And since he refused admission, his throne was threatened. He had to appease or satisfy the British officer. And in 10 years, the Tiger King hunted 70 tigers. In order to appease the British officer, the king sent 50 diamond rings to his wife to choose from. But she kept all 50 rings. The king retained his kingdom at the cost of rupees 3 lakh. When there were no more tigers left in his kingdom, he got married, and whenever he visited his father-in-law, he hunted tigers there. And in this manner, he was successful in killing 99 tigers in all. It was really a tension to find the 100th tiger. Now, this showed the rational behavior of the king towards villagers. When he was told there was a tiger in a village, he had given an exemption from tax for 3 years. But when he couldn't find one to complete a tally of 100 tigers, in anger, he doubled land tax. Somehow the problem had to be solved. The Diwan brought a tiger from People's Park in Madras and took it to the forest where the king was hunting. And the tiger was shot at by the king. The king was under the impression that he had killed the tiger, and he went home triumphant. But he had missed the shot. The tiger collapsed due to the report of the gun. The tiger was shot again by hunters and killed. And here, the 100th tiger was not killed by the king. As ordered by the king, the dead tiger was carried in procession and buried, and a tomb erected. Now let's see what leads to Maharaja's death. On his son's birthday, he gifted him a wooden tiger. It had a raw surface, and this toy tiger was made by an unskilled worker. The king and his son played with the toy tiger, and while playing, tiny slivers of wood pierced king's left hand, and there was a sore that generated pus. 3 famous surgeons from Madras operated him. The operation was successful, but the king was dead. And in this way, the final revenge was taken by the 100th tiger, which happens to be a toy tiger made of wood. What was told by the state astrologer proved true. The prophecy did prove true, as king's death came out of the 100th tiger, the wooden tiger. The king thought that he had killed the 100th tiger, but actually he missed its mark and it was killed by one of the ministers. The destiny played its role, as the 100th tiger was the wooden tiger. Students, I have only covered a few paragraphs of the book. Please read the rest by yourself.